time you're done listening to this, 1.5 tons of food will have been thrown away. That is how much food waste in Singapore. Every day, Singapore are throwing away more than 2,000 tons of food on average. That's 2 million kilograms. Out of this, only 16% is recycled, or equal to 32 tons that is being recycled. The rest is incinerated and put into landfills. And through this website, I found them, the Freeganism community in Little India. Hello, good evening. So right now, I'm going to meet with the Little India Veggie Collection, and we're going to do a food rescue mission. Okay, so the idea is kind of like collect the waste food. The food is still like edible, and then we give them away to people in the street. I think that's kind of like the way. So we're going to meet them. The meeting is kind of like at 9 p.m. Now right now it's kind of like 8:52. I think I'm kind of late. So let's meet them. We're almost here. We're in Little India. So right now I'm at Little India Veggie Collection. I'm with Yenling. Yenling is kind of like the coordinator. Are you?
No, I'm not. I carry on this. The baton was passed to me.
Okay.
So now I help to keep it, going on.
Okay.
With a group of other friends. Yeah.
Okay, so Yenling, what are we going to do today?
Today we are in this activity called Little India Veggie Collection. It is focusing on collecting from the shops, and the shops pass it to us on the basis of goodwill. So we understand that the shops usually have things that they cannot keep to the next day.
Yeah.
It could be surpluses, right? It could be ugly vegetables. It could be something that they just can't keep because later on you notice that the shops don't have a cold refrigeration portion for their vegetable in front.
Yeah.
So of course things you can't keep for longer.
Okay.
So then they will decide to throw it out.
So they will just give it to you.
Yeah, so we request from them. It's on the basis that it's stuff that they will not keep to sell for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's on their understanding.
Okay.
Yeah, so since they're going to put it into the green bin, in Singapore we have a green bin for commercial purposes.
Sure.
For them to throw their food waste.
Okay.
But since they're going to put it in the green bin anyway, we ask them to pass it to us.
What are we going to do today? So it's collecting the food, and then after that?
So we collect the food, but because we collect from quite a few shops,
Okay.
there's around like 14 shops, 14 to 15. So you can imagine the amount could be quite a bit. It depends on the day. Some days it's not much, some days it's quite a lot. Then what we do is we bring it home for our own consumption.
Okay.
Right, so it's part of the freegan lifestyle. We bring it home, save money, save the planet at the same time.
Freeganism is an ideology of limited participation in the conventional economy and minimal consumption of resources, particularly through recovering waste goods like food. To make it easy, Freeganism is like the anti-consumerism. So instead of buying things or buying food, they ask people, is it okay if I use things that you don't use anymore? And is it okay if I eat your leftover?
Then usually there's still a lot left.
Okay.
So what we do is we share out with community. Some of the participants, they have their own small little community. It could be their own immediate neighbors.
Okay.
Or some of them have slowly ventured out into giving to larger group of neighbors.
Sure.
So they have like things like WhatsApp chat, for example, right? To tell everyone, hey, today got vegetables, come down and collect. So on other nights, we actually share with anyone who can appreciate it. So we have reached out to places like temples, soup kitchens, because they can cook for a large amount of people.
So we're collecting like 5 boxes tonight.
So these boxes here, it's to sort out the vegetables. So later on, because we're going to collect from so many different shops, all of them give us a mix of things.
Okay.
Then we'll use it to sort out the different categories of vegetables and fruits. Yeah.
Do I need to wait here, or can I just go?
You will come with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they just collect the first. This is like the first, right?
This is a small lot, so probably the small lot over there and here.
Okay. So let's go. Our first mission in the food rescue. So I'm with Calvin, and we're going to collect the waste food here. This one is Calvin. One another volunteer.
没有哈，好，这样我就拿这些就好了。好，谢谢。
Wow. So this is like the waste food?
Yeah. Some of them are, still
Thank you. 谢谢. This is the waste food in Singapore, and they just give it for free, and that's it. Wow. So this is the next shop.
Oh, brother, thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, I will
Than them, right?
yeah. Put down the basket because
Oh, it's cold.
yeah, they took it off on the fridge. I think so most of the shops do not have refrigeration. So they need to.
Oh, thank
so
you
that's
so
all,
much.
is it, brother? Yeah, thank you very much.
you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
How many shops are there, like in the Little India, like you collect?
So I think initially they started with only 3. Now there's like probably more than 10 shops that are supporting us because as over the years, right, more and more started to come on board.
Wow, this is interesting. Amazing. Okay, we're back at the meeting point, and there's a ton of food. Wow. So look. So what they do is they kind of like collect it, and then they kind of like categorize it, like depends on the box. Fruit with fruits, vegetables with vegetables. This is amazing. Like, look at this. The condition of the fruit. I mean, in Indonesia we sell this. This is not broken. I don't know why, because I think it's because of this. You know? It's kind of like this kind of condition. And there's a lot of it. There's one box. I think this is around like easily more than 5 kilos. See this? We already kind of like categorize it between the, like if it's fruit or vegetables. This one too. This is chili. This is like the chili. Look. It's amazing. It keeps coming. So yeah, I mean the food waste in Singapore, it's real. And it's a lot. This is a lot. And there are only like 5 kind of like volunteers for the moment. Just 5. Imagine it. 5 people for this much of food. How many people could eat this? I mean like more 10, 20 families, I guess. Because like the amount of the food. Crazy. So for this one we're trying to kind of like to filter it. This is like the edible.
Yeah, edible.
And this one is like the non-edible. And how do you know it? I think it's kind of like
Usually this one, the dark spots are still okay.
still okay.
It's
and-
just unsightly, so they tend not to be bought.
okay.
Yeah, but some of it like this one, like this is already starting to be a bit moldy.
Uh-huh.
So this one usually I'll toss it out. Because,
So you throw it out.
Yeah, they actually tend to contaminate quite fast for this one, this vegetable lah.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
a lot of times it's from trial and error we learn.
Do you ever get like food poison from this?
No,
Never.
no, because I mean we wash the vegetables, we process it. It's like food poisoning is usually from unhygienic practices.
Sure.
We rescue food, but we are not eating rubbish.
Yeah.
It's just that they cannot sell.
Yeah, they cannot tell.
Yeah.
Si ustedes vienen de Latinoamérica, yo creo que con este tipo de cosas, o sea, esta verdura todavía como se puede comer. O sea, mira la calidad, o sea, solamente ya un negrito, pero solamente un poquito, ¿no? No tanto. Así que eso es lo que estamos haciendo aquí. Y eso es lo que ellos están haciendo aquí, como comer lo que hay, comer lo que la gente como no quiere, solamente porque no está en el estado perfecto. So right now I'm with Hans Chong, like one of the member of the community of Freegan.
Good evening.
Good evening. So Han Chong, a question.
Yes.
How much do you spend in a month living in Singapore?
Roughly about 500 Singapore dollars.
500 Singapore dollars.
Yeah.
If you say that like to any person in Singapore,
Yeah.
do they will believe you?
Yeah, probably not. Because some estimates is that in order to have, average cost of living, yeah, you will easily be about 3 times that amount.
3 times that, more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, like by doing this, it's really save you a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
of course, with the exception is that I'm privileged because I'm still staying at my parents' place, so I don't have to pay rent.
Okay.
And neither do I own a property.
And then, like, how long have you been like only like spend 500 Singapore dollars? How long has it been?
Well, I like to think that I have been doing so for close to 3 decades actually. Yeah,
Almost 3 decades.
Yeah, living quite minimally.
So Han Chong and Freeganism community spend around 500 Singaporean dollars per month, and the average Singaporean spend 1,500 Singaporean dollars. So Freeganism community and Han Chong spend 3 times lesser than average Singaporean. Wow!
Yeah, because we all have only very basic needs: food, water,
Sure.
and shelter.
That's it. So you
That's
basically
it.
like crush it down. So like
That's
into
right.
it. So Yenling, okay. This is like below average.
I would say it's slightly below average. Some items, of course, have larger volumes, but it's always uncertain. So there's brinjal, a lot.
Yeah, a lot, and then
Chinese New Year, there's a lot of mandarin
orange,
oranges.
yeah. A lot of chili.
Polyglot, chili, and then there's a lot of this. We call it polyglot today. So polyglot is this whole thing.
Wow. Okay, like usually, like the average amount, like how many can you collect? Like
I kind of did a very rough estimation. So 1 month, I estimate it's about half a ton.
half a ton
Yeah,
in one
one
month.
month.
Just here, Little
Yeah,
India.
this year. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 times a week.
Every year, Singapore's food waste is getting higher and higher. In 2018, they waste around 763,000 tons in a year. In 2022, they waste 813,000 tons a year. That's 50,000 tons more in 5 years. Wow, guys. I mean, this is a lot of food. I'm not going to lie. And the quality, it's still good. This is good one. No me la contés, todo esto es como en... Yo diría como está en estado perfecto. ¿Por qué tiran este brócoli? Going to take it like some of the food like back to your house, right?
Yes. Usually, I try to be a bit adventurous lah. The shops here tend to sell vegetables that is not in my traditional cuisine.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, when I'm doing this, I also learn how to cook different vegetables,
Sure.
Google recipe, share recipe with people. Yeah, so it becomes a cultural exchange at the same time.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. So Han Chong, what are you trying to take home from here?
Just a little bit of the things that's not so easily grown in Singapore. Grapes, pomegranate, cucumbers are always helpful. You can actually, I sometimes if I got surplus, I will make kimchi out of them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how you can extend the shelf life for some of these vegetables.
So Kelvin, is it okay for
Yeah,
you?
sure. Yeah.
So what are you trying to take home today?
I'm actually looking for some bananas, but some fruits, some leafy vegetables, but there are no leafy vegetables tonight. What else? Pomegranate for my neighbor.
For your neighbor?
Yes, I have some neighbors, some elderly neighbors. So usually they like some fruits. Yeah, those easy to eat fruits like bananas. So I'll share some with them.
In a month, like how much can you save? Like how much do you spend living in Singapore in a month?
I guess for my those like food and everyday needs and all that, right? I'll spend less than $200. Yeah.
Less than 200
Less
for
than
for food.
$200, yes, for food. Yeah, I cook like 90%. In fact, like this month, probably like 90% of my meals. Occasionally, friends are out. Yeah, so I spend very, very minimally outside.
Wow, just for food around like $200.
Or less. I think this month I'm even like less than 150.
How long has it been like living this kind of lifestyle?
Oh, for about 2 years. Yeah,
2 years.
2 years.
Like
yeah.
this, how much did you spend?
A month, easily maybe about 3 times or 4 times more, $600 to $800 just on food and food and daily necessities.
That's 6 until 800. You were like cooking every day.
No.
No,
Back then I was before I started rescuing vegetables, I was like cooking only about 1 out of 3 meals.
Okay.
Now I'm cooking like most of my meals. Yeah, preparing most of my meals.
And what makes you kind of like change the life? What makes you? I mean, did you Like one day you just realize that okay, I spent too much. I need to change this, or what happened?
It's not so much of a personal lifestyle or spending thing, but I realized that energy, climate, consumption, and the way we live, they are all interconnected. Yeah. So like Singapore, right? No one really has an idea where do our food come from, actually.
Yeah.
And the surprising thing is, we actually have a goal in Singapore. The government has a plan to grow 30% of our food by 2030. This is 2024 right now, right? We're not even at 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So most of our food are actually, imported from our neighbors, from Indonesia, from Malaysia, from Thailand, and all our necessities actually comes from outside. Yeah. So once you start, piecing all the, jigsaw puzzle together, you realize that, we don't produce our food. In case where there's, climate change is going to bring a lot of what they call food insecurity. Yeah, there's going to be like food crop failure and food shortages around the world. So it's a pressing question that Singapore needs to start answering.
Yeah.
That in case if every country starts start becoming protectionist of their own food and all that, where are we going to get our sustenance from?
Thank you so much, Kelvin. Like this is like the kind of like the food waste community. I mean, they're trying to reduce the food waste, and this is like the community is like really good. They work really well, and they save tons of food. I mean, imagine in one neighborhood, they save around half ton of food. That's a lot of food. That's too much in just one neighborhood. Imagine all of Singapore. Don't throw your food. So Jane, what are you trying to take home?
Pomegranates. I took the cauliflower, cucumbers, okras.
Okay.
Then this is some potatoes and eggplants.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. How much do you spend like a month in Singapore? Lifestyle.
I don't really count because basically my mom does most of the grocery.
I think like you save a lot of money by doing.
Because let's say if you collect, you can basically eat for the whole week.
So when you start this lifestyle?
I think it started in 2018.
2018.
Yeah.
What makes you like start this kind of lifestyle?
Because I thought it was fun.
Oh, it was fun.
Yes.
So this is like where they take some food. So Yenling, a question. Like by doing this, how much can you save like in a month?
More like how much can I earn in a month?
Okay.
It's kind of like the more you give out, the more you receive in a sense.
Yep. It works kind of like that.
And I found that as you practice more of that, it comes naturally. So like especially when you do it, you find that you need to give to community, you need to make friends, and then you socialize, and then from there, whatever you give out, people tend to reciprocate.
Sure.
Yeah. So I don't think I counted how much I have saved. I have saved only just for myself, but I felt like I have earned community friends and then a lot more.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. Yeah. And like how many people are there like in this community?
So actively, I would say there's people come in and out. But this is just one subset of a much larger community.
Sure.
A lot of people do this and also do some other activities. And actually, we also see that interaction. So sometimes, like for example, for myself, I just can speak for myself. Whatever I bring home, I actually will process them. And those that cannot be eaten, that really cannot be eaten, can be food for the garden.
Sure.
So I bring them to a garden to compost. And from there, it links up with the gardening community. Right?
Okay.
And from there, it becomes a very circular motion of
cycle.
material.
Sure.
Yeah, and even over there, we have started to things like we approached the vending machine guy over there they have this like orange vending machine, orange juice vending machine, and the peels is not used up.
Yeah.
So we actually collect from there and do it compost.
You collect it from there too.
Yeah.
And how long has it been like you doing this?
I started, I would say very organically, like at work. Right? Everyone brings food to work, and then you suddenly have too much food. But some families have practices of not keeping the food. But I would just tell them, hey, you don't want it, I can still keep it for lunch.
Sure.
Right? So it started from just to and fro, very personal basis. And then, like once And my friend says that okay, I'm actually open to do this kind of sharing of material. So start to rope me in and ask me like, hey, I got this other thing. Do you want to use it?
Yeah.
You start to ask each other like, do you mind using it?
Yeah.
I want to give it away, and it just started from there, and you start to make into a practice, I would say. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Really, thank you so much, Yenli.
Thank you.
It's really a pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I actually pre-planned to come here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, since I know I'm going to meet you in Little India. So using this app called Olio, O-L-I-O.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can actually change the location of where I want to collect or give out. And then I found something that I think I can use, and that's why we're here.
Okay, so right now we're going to collect. We're going to see like the process of like taking something from people. Actually, not taking something. It's kind of like receive something from people that they don't use it anymore. So yeah, that's right. This is
This
it.
is what I meant to collect,
Okay.
and that's what I'm collecting. Yeah.
Is it like a new or?
Almost, yeah. I think it's just half used only.
Half use only.
Yeah, and it's actually not even expired yet. So expiry date is I think 24th of February.
24 February. So it's
Yeah.
like this month.
Yeah, that's right. So but generally, if you keep things well,
Okay.
they can actually last much longer. Especially if you keep them in a refrigerator.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how you do it. So I'm using this app.
Using this app.
Yeah. Called Olio.
This one. Olio.
Yeah, O-L-I-O. And so this is what I was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nutrition
picking up.
shake.
That's right.
Most giveaway.
Yeah, most giveaway. So
Oh.
half left. Yeah, best before is February 2024.
Okay.
And it puts there flexi pickup. So,
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's just
it.
it. Wow. So that's like how Olio works. So Olio is like the base in UK, right? If I'm not
That's
wrong.
right, but Singapore is apparently the second largest user base for this app, mainly because of our friends within the freegan community.
Sure.
Yeah, started to give away things, so that incentivize people to use the app more.
Sure. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Olio, guys. So anyone who lives in Singapore, try it. Olio. It saves you a lot of money too. So I just got back to my hotel, and it was a really like incredible night with the Freeganism community. Like from there I learned a lot about the trying to live like minimalist, not to be greedy, just like share and receive. I mean, the great thing about that community also that I like realized like none of them are greedy. They just took whatever they need to. Okay, they just took whatever they want and they need, and that's it. Freeganism community in Singapore, you cannot buy it with money. That is the most priceless thing with this community. So I'm Sonnywils. Thank you so much for watching my video. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.